What's up, Gooners? Welcome back to the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button because we've got 3 crucial stories today that could shape Arsenal's immediate and long-term future. Gooners, Gabriel Jesus is wanted. Sky Sports News is reporting that a number of Premier League clubs would be interested in signing him on loan during the January transfer window, with Everton leading the charge. Dharmesh Sheth, Rob Dorset and Lyle Thomas report that Everton are prioritising signing a striker in January, particularly a player with Premier League experience. They're considering various loan options and Jesus is one name on their radar. Now, before anyone panics, let me tell you what Arsenal are saying about this. Sky Sports report that January departures from Arsenal are viewed as unlikely, and it doesn't look as though Jesus will be available for transfer in the winter window. Mikel Arteta recently suggested that Jesus will be an important part of his plans in the second half of the season, and the player himself has made his position crystal clear. Jesus said in late October, "Every day the coach and the board say they're eager for my return. I don't see myself outside the club's plans. I have a contract until 2027, and if it's not renewed by then, I'll be at the club at least until 2027. So Jesus wants to stay. Arteta wants him to stay, and Arsenal have no intention of letting him go. That's about as clear as it gets. For now, Jesus' focus is just on getting fit. He's been out for 10 months with that devastating ACL injury, and recent reports suggest Arsenal are looking to schedule a friendly match during the international break to get him up to speed following his return to full training. But Arsenal are going to ease him back carefully. There's no expectation he'll be involved as soon as club football returns. The end of the year is still the target for his comeback. Here's why this matters, Gooners. Jesus was in excellent form before his injury. He scored 6 goals in 6 games leading up to his ACL tear. If he can return anywhere near that level, he's going to be a massive asset in the second half of the season. Everton can look elsewhere for their striker. Jesus is staying at Arsenal, and when he's fully fit, he could be the difference maker in our title push. Arsenal tracking next Kaka at Under-17 World Cup. Now let's talk about Arsenal's long-term planning, because Andrea Berta is already thinking years ahead. Arsenal have sent scouts to watch the Under-17 World Cup in Qatar this month, and they're keeping an eye on some incredibly talented youngsters. Arsenal Insider understands that Berta is keen on sourcing the most exciting prospects on the planet before other top clubs do, and he views this tournament as the perfect opportunity to watch these potential stars. Every major club in the world has representatives in Qatar, and Arsenal are among those looking to capitalise. Arsenal Insider can confirm that Felipe Moraes, Lookman Tapsoba and Felipe Esquivel are just 3 of the players the North London club are closely observing. Transfer expert Graham Bailey spoke to Arsenal Insider about these targets, and what he said about Felipe Moraes is absolutely fascinating. Bailey said one of them is a player who could emerge as one of the stars of the tournament, and that is Felipe Moraes, the Cruzeiro attacking midfielder. A majestic midfielder can play on either flank. We don't like young players to get tags, but one scout told me, think Kaka type. Think Kaka type. That's the comparison being made. Bailey continued, he has made a great start in Qatar with a goal in each game, looks a real class act, and I am told he is one on Arsenal's radar. He only turned 17 in August, so he is one that could not move to Europe until January 2027, but keep an eye on him. So Moraes is 17 years old, playing for Cruzeiro's youth teams and already scoring in every game at the Under-17 World Cup. He's a majestic midfielder who can play on either flank, and scouts are comparing him to one of the greatest playmakers of all time. But he's not the only one Arsenal are watching. Bailey also mentioned Lookman Tapsoba from Burkina Faso, and this kid sounds even more special in some ways. Bailey said Arsenal are also very much keeping tabs on Lookman Tapsoba, arguably the most intriguing talent at the tournament. Only 15, but the Burkina Faso striker looks a supreme talent. Think Didier Drogba, Victor Osimhen. That is what people are thinking here. I am informed there is no player in Qatar getting more attention than him, and Arsenal are like every other major European club and are checking on him. Let me repeat that. Tapsoba is only 15 years old, and people are comparing him to Drogba and Osimhen, and he's getting more attention than any other player at the entire tournament. That's how highly rated this kid is. The third player Arsenal are watching is River Plate's Felipe Esquivel. Bailey mentioned that Arsenal were at Argentina's 3-2 win over Belgium specifically to watch him, and Esquivel scored a spectacular winner in that match. This is exactly the kind of forward-thinking approach Arsenal need. Berta is building for the future, identifying the best young talents in the world before they become household names. If Arsenal can sign players like Moraes, Tapsoba or Esquivel before they explode onto the scene, we could have future superstars for a fraction of what they'll cost in a few years. Arsenal are enjoying an excellent season right now, but Berta isn't just focused on today. He's building a dynasty, and that means attracting the best young players in the world who can develop into superstars and lead the next generation at the Emirates. Keep these names in mind, Gooners. Felipe Moraes, Lukman Tapsoba, Felipe Esquivel. One or more of them could be wearing an Arsenal shirt in a few years. Alright, let's talk about the immediate future, specifically the North London derby. Victor Gyökeres is pushing to return from a hamstring injury in time to face Tottenham, and Arsenal are sweating over his fitness. Gyökeres suffered the hamstring issue in Arsenal's 2-0 win away at Burnley, and he was forced off at half-time. The frustrating thing is that he was producing his best performance in an Arsenal shirt so far that day, which must have gutted Mikel Arteta. The 27-year-old is now pushing to be available for the North London derby after the international break, and Arsenal have been assessing his chances of being fit in time. According to Charles Watts speaking to Sportsmole, Gyökeres is touch and go to be back for Tottenham, but Arsenal are hopeful he'll be available. Watts said, "Arsenal are, that's the hope. I couldn't say for certain that is definitely going to happen or not. Obviously there are a lot of checks and tests to go through. It's going to be close. The Tottenham game will be 3 weeks from Burnley, and best case scenario, a hamstring is kind of 3 weeks if it's the very lowest grades or issues, so it's going to be touch and go. But the hope is that he could well be involved. So it's a race against time. 3 weeks from the Burnley match to the Tottenham game. If it's a very minor hamstring strain, he could make it. If it's anything worse, he'll miss out." Arsenal Insider understands that behind the scenes, Gyökeres has been impressing the coaching staff massively. There's a genuine sense that he's going to take the team to the next level once he's fully settled and firing on all cylinders. But right now it's unclear whether he'll be able to feature against Tottenham. And this creates a massive dilemma for Arteta. During the 2-2 draw at Sunderland, Mikel Merino struggled up front. He failed to cope with the physicality of Dan Ballard and Sunderland's defence. Merino's a brilliant player, but he's not a natural striker, and it showed in that match. Tottenham boss Thomas Frank could deploy a back three of Christian Romero, Mickey van de Ven and Kevin Danso at the Emirates. That's a physical, imposing defence that's going to sit deep and make life difficult for Arsenal's attack. Gyökeres is the ideal candidate to deal with that kind of challenge. He's got the physicality, the work rate, and the ability to hold the ball up and bring others into play. Alan Shearer praised exactly those qualities about Gyökeres recently. So Arteta faces a big decision. If Gyökeres is declared fit, does he throw him straight back into the starting 11 for one of the biggest matches of the season? Or does he play it safe, stick with Merino or another option, and ease Gyökeres back more gradually? It's a tough call. On one hand, Arsenal need their best players available for the North London derby. On the other hand, rushing a player back from a hamstring injury is always risky, especially in such a high-intensity match. Arteta will need to work closely with Arsenal's medical team to determine whether Gyökeres is genuinely ready for that challenge. The last thing anyone wants is for him to break down again and be out for even longer. The hope is that it's just a minor strain. He makes a full recovery during the international break and he's ready to go against Spurs, because having Gyökeres available for that match could be the difference between 3 points and 1. So there you have it, Gooners. What do you think, Gooners? Are you glad Jesus is staying? Which of those young talents excites you most? And do you want Gyökeres to start against Spurs if he's fit, or would you play it safe? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and subscribe so you never miss an Arsenal update. Until next time, Gooners.